I am so excited. Brett, how are you?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me.
Not to make this about me, but it kind of always is. Oh my God. Are you mad at me? We have quite literally my favorite Instagram follow here on the pod. For context, I met you at Alex's Unwell tour.
Yes.
And I fangirled. I was like, holy shit, I love all of your content. One thing I love about you is you're always I read all of my DMs. I actually DM'd you to come on the podcast and you responded in seconds.
No, I am chronically in my DMs.
Right.
But it's one of my favorite parts of having a platform and a following. Because even when I had 2,000 followers and I got a DM, I'd get so excited. So I still channel that energy. And I'm this is what I always wanted. So I'm in the nitty gritty. I love talking to everyone. So that doesn't surprise me that it was literally seconds.
I was wait, what the fuck? She answered. And you were I love the podcast name. Can't wait to come. I am an anxious person. I would have to sit on that DM for minutes, maybe days, maybe months. And then I'd be no, I can't.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just me. I'm not saying yes to every single thing I'm invited to or whatever, but girls have reached out to me saying they're writing a paper and about me and they want to interview me. And I always try to do stuff like that.
I love.
This is what I've always wanted, is to have a platform. And so take that back to people is exciting. And obviously we have so much crossover. So it was an immediate duh.
But the reason why you're one of my favorite follows is because you are literally, I might even say the only person that I follow who posts so much about fitness and about food in a way that does not trigger me. Mm-hmm. You're posting about fitness all the time. You're posting about food all the time. People are asking you questions about it all the time. How have you figured out that balance for yourself?
It's kind of come naturally with time because so many girls, I struggled with food and exercise in the past, especially because I was a long distance runner. I had an unhealthy relationship with the both of them in high school going into college, kind of right around the time when I revamped my Instagram, Brett's Bites, and started posting again, was the same time that I finally decided I was okay, I need to figure out this situation with food. I need to stop being scared of different things. And so it kind of just came naturally as I healed that relationship with me. And I never had a diagnosed eating disorder or anything.
I think a lot of people are like that though.
Yes.
Men and women, where it's
100%.
You know,
it's
girl,
not
don't
normal.
eat that. And it's that's not okay. You got to eat it.
Yeah. I always am cognizant of what I'm sharing, but I'll never do a what I eat in a day. I don't judge anyone who posts them, but it's just not my vibe. I found that my audience specifically takes a lot of my stuff as Bible, which I'm so appreciative of snacks I recommend or my workouts and stuff like that. I don't want any young girl to say oh, well, this is what Brett ate. So this is what I'm going to eat, because everyone is so different. Just for my content, it's just not.
It's not the vibe.
It's not my vibe. I'll never be this is exactly what I ate and whatever.
Yeah.
So
going back to track, I think how I found you, there was a video or something, and you were talking about your relationship with running. And so some people probably already know this, but so both my parents ran track. I went to Texas A&M for 2 years. I played volleyball, ran track, transferred to University of Texas, stopped playing volleyball. Then I was going to do my 5th year at USC, which is how I know some of those people on the track team. And then halfway through, I was like, just kidding, I'm going to stay in LA and vibe. My parents were all right, we'll get you a ticket to come home. And I was like, I'm staying, divas. And they hated that. But I was just so excited to live this life where my identity was not tied to track. And so much of my track identity was tied to my body. And then my body was fluctuating, which was totally fine. But I was still through my mom, she still worked with USA Track and Field, going to meets and going to events with her. And I was around these people, seeing their bodies and comparing myself to their bodies. And it got to a point where I was girl, you're not an Olympian. That's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have to figure out how to be in these environments without legitimately crashing out.
100%.
I'm just curious, what was that time like when you were in the transition and being okay, I want to get back to loving running again? How do I get there?
After I left the track team at USC, which I literally was only on for a semester because I had gotten my 3rd stress fracture in a year and a half this summer going into my freshman year. But I also was very burnt out.
Yeah.
The whole thing was just upsetting, and I took running so seriously in high school that it took the fun out of it. I was acting like I was an Olympian in high school. And
but track is like that because it's I feel like I'm talking about body a lot. That's not like where the whole conversation is going. That's your only tool. You don't have like a teammate or a net or a ball, and it's an individual sport. Like it's really intense, and you're quite literally going against like a number that you're always chipping away at. So it's so easy to become like really deprecating to yourself. It's so easy.
Once I like retired, I stopped running for like years. I would go to like a berries class, but like that was like the absolute most. And like sometimes I would try to force myself to run because I was also dealing with my own like body struggles and being like, oh, well, like this is the workout I know the best. And like, oh, I looked like this in high school. So like I came back from my freshman year and I was like, okay, I need to start running again because like
I relate to that.
I had been drinking so much and I had naturally like put on some weight, like as like most people do when you quit a sport and you're in college, whatever.
Right.
I just was miserable though. And so I just like stopped completely. And then when I got back into it post grad, I was just coming from a place of like, this sounds enjoyable again. So like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And it was kind of just like the perfect storm of a lot of factors of like kind of crashing out post grad and wanting to like put my energy towards something. And then also I started going to Venice Run Club. When it was still like on the smaller side.
Yeah.
So it was like very, and like it still is community based, but it's just gotten very large.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Whereas when I started going in August of 2022, it was only like 150 people. So I immediately made friends, and then I fostered that community, and then I did like my first half marathon, and then because of VRC, I was convinced to do LA a few months later, my first full.
Still like a great environment to like dip your toes into, because I've been like 1 or 2 times, and even though it's big, it does still feel like community vibes.
They definitely do an amazing job.
Yeah.
It just like for me personally, like it served its purpose like at that time in my life, and I'm still very close friends, but it's just like it's far from where I live. My first run there, I of course wasn't in like the best shape ever, like running wise shape, but like I kind of had that competitive itch come back because I was like, oh, I know I can be as fast as like these like the girls who are like more in the front.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of just like the right place at the right time for me. Like I never anticipated being like a marathoner this young or anything like that. I've just kind of gone with the flow, and like I continuously take breaks, and like if it's ever not fun for me, like I'll stop and like put it on pause because it'll never become my entire identity again.
Right.
And that's like a big thing with my content. The same thing with like my food stuff, and like I share across the board, and so I never want to be like characterized or put into a box by one thing. I really didn't think I could do a full marathon.
Do you think that's like, what was your perspective of marathons before you were in this environment?
I didn't understand how people did them. It seemed so daunting and so far out of reach. And like even when I did my first half marathon that November, I was at like mile like 10, and I was like, how do people do 2 of these? I was like, I am wanting to die. I was in so much pain.
Yeah. What would you say to people who say people who run marathons are like attention seekers? I've never gotten that like,
I mean, like,
that thing.
They aren't fully wrong. Like, I'm sure like a lot of people are like, oh, I want to do this like for attention seeking purposes, but at the end of the day, it's like such an incredible feat that it's like,
it is.
Yeah, obviously anyone who does a marathon is going to want to talk about it. It's genuinely like the hardest thing I've ever done. It's just like kind of like part of the territory, and I'm just like whatever about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, sure.
So this is basically, would you rather?
Okay.
Would you rather run a half marathon with Jake pacing you, or solo, no music, but you PR?
Solo, no music for sure.
Wait. Right.
Jake couldn't run a half marathon, so and he knows that.
Right. I couldn't either.
I think you could.
I do.
You're an
want to
athlete.
run it. I want to run a marathon.
You will.
It's been on my heart lately.
You
really
will.
Has.
You can do it.
Would you rather run a marathon to only country music or only EDM?
EDM.
Would you rather train for a 10K with no music or no caffeine?
No music.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, I ran all of high school cross country training with no music
true.
and racing without music. So like
That's
I can do that.
Would you rather run on a treadmill or always run in a group?
That's really hard. Probably run on a treadmill.
Really?
Honestly.
Group is tough.
I like a group run sometimes, but like I can't do it all the time, especially with long runs. I prefer my long runs alone, although a long run on a treadmill would be awful.
Right.
I just think I would prefer that because I don't hate the treadmill. I love an interval workout on the treadmill.
I love a good treadmill.
Yeah.
Barry's has good treadmills.
They do.
There's a couple things I want to talk about within college athletics, and we'll move on to from all the track stuff. I am curious, like, what was your experience with recruiting and how did that go? Because I feel like a lot of people, track especially, it's like the most accessible sport, right? Like a lot of people do it. And so having that dream of running track in college does feel a little bit more tangible than like, I don't know, playing another sport sometimes. So I'm curious, what was your process like?
It wasn't until like my junior year I got some colleges reaching out to me and I started also reaching out. There was like this guy who like helped a lot of high school athletes like with their recruiting process in our area. He was like helping me kind of like funnel communications and stuff.
Yeah.
And I knew that like I obviously had good grades and like a good ACT score and stuff. So I like had my sights set on like good schools that fit also what I wanted to study, which was ideally journalism.
Yeah.
It was like a pretty easy-ish process, but I of course like felt some pressures about being like USC, the distance program isn't A1, but like I know I'll be happy there if I were to quit, which I had a feeling like would happen at some point because being
Why did you think that?
For me, and like I'm so impressed that you were an athlete all 4 years because I mean it is draining. Like it's a full-time job along like on top of classes and everything. And I was even overwhelmed by it with that one semester. And basically everyone had told me, like, go to the school that you know you'll be happy if you aren't an athlete anymore because that's really important because you never know.
I was going to ask you what your advice would be. And I wish I got that advice because when I went to A&M, it was like, I'm from Austin. I had just come from like, I think we went to the London Olympics. Like I'd been to the Beijing Olympics. And then I was like, in College Station, Texas. And it was like, yeah, I'm like playing on the volleyball team and like scoring at SECs and doing all these things. But I was like, oh my God, like these are not my people. And it was like, I was manic. It was crazy.
Yeah.
That's good advice. Whenever I first got to college, I remember they had all of us in a room, like all of the freshman athletes, and they were like, 1% of you will like be professional athletes. There was like some like insane number. When you're young, you don't want to like accept that. And obviously that doesn't mean like you shouldn't try and you shouldn't pursue all the things. But I don't know, whenever I was in high school at the time, I wasn't able to look outside of like this idea of what my identity was supposed to be and think about some of those things. And I think it's really important for people to do that because you get injured, I don't know, you get burnt out, like anything can happen in your life and you need to be in a place where like you just want to be in general. I do want to ask you, who are some of your favorite track athletes right now?
I'm a huge Emma Coburn stan.
I
love her so much. And we're actually mutuals now, which is like my biggest claim to fame.
Slay.
She found me via Jake because she followed Jake.
Wait, I love.
And we've DM'd and I've like sent her Garrett. She sent me New Balance stuff. So
wait,
like,
that's
that was
so
like
cute.
Anyone who doesn't follow track, Emma Coburn is like the queen of the steeplechase, which is like an epic track event, I think.
Very.
Obviously love Sha'Carri. Rye Benjamin is one of my good friends.
I love
and
Rye.
I mean, he's just like the best.
Yeah.
Same with Michael.
Rye, you have to come on. Sorry.
Yeah, right. Same with like Michael. Other distance people that I like keep kind of up with is like Emily Infeld.
Yeah.
Well, Colleen Quigley isn't competing nearly as much anymore, but she was a favorite.
She was one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
She was. I'm so passionate about just like people like thinking track is cool, which is so lame. And I think that's what's also fun is like you're posting Reformation links and then it'll be like world championships and you're like, go Rye. And I'm like, wait, this is like such a niche experience for me.
It is so entertaining. And I will say like it's hard because even for me, like I'm like still tapped in on like Twitter, I would say, because I follow like Flow Track and like all those. In non-Olympic years, which is obviously most of the years, it's like the Diamond League meets, which are like the professional track meets, are hard to follow, different time zones, like yada yada yada. The Olympics, like just like turn it on, it's so fun. It's so fun to watch. It's definitely getting like some more press, I think, from like some runners, which I think is amazing. But even like my boyfriend, like I've gotten him into it, and
I love this silly girl.
Now he's like obsessed. So.
I love it. It's fun. I feel like if you're into like racing or like I don't know, there's so many things that are comparable. I'm like, track is fun.
Yeah.
Aside from the fitness, food, all that stuff, I am obsessed with you and you're just like LA vibe in general.
Thank you.
Like I love how you're like, thanks love. When were you like, oh, I'm an LA bitch? Like when did you look up and you're like, bye Midwest, like I'm an LA girl?
Realistically, probably like my junior year of college. I was the girl that like in high school, I was like following like LA influencers and I was like, oh my God, Air One is so cool. And like Earth Cafe and like all like Alfred, like whatever.
Right.
My freshman and sophomore year, I was doing like kind of like the basic like LA stuff, but then like junior year is when it was COVID, like for me. Sophomore spring, we got sent home, so junior was completely online, and I had my car. We would like get to go things for dinner and like eat in my car, and like I really felt like then I really got to know the city even more, and like kind of got to like go around because traffic wasn't as bad, and like we didn't have as many things to do. Ever since like post grad, I've experienced the city obviously in like a different way, not being at SC, and I would just like now I'm just like I don't think I could ever go back to Chicago.
Really?
Yeah. Well, for a myriad of reasons. But like never say never.
Right.
I don't know if I see myself in LA like long term, which some people are surprised about, but I love it for right now. I'm not doing like the quintessential LA things like all the time. Like I just stopped at Erewhon, but like I hadn't been to Erewhon in like a few months. Like, you know what I mean? Like you kind of get used to the lifestyle and like you aren't doing as many of the fad like LA things.
Yeah. You came in and you were like, oh, I just came from a Pilates class. I just grabbed Erewhon, and I was like, I fucking love you. I am just so sick of people acting like, I don't want to use the word cool, but it's like, if you like something, just do it. And clearly a lot of people fucking like Erewhon. There's a location on every corner.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, you got to just own it.
What was your order?
I literally just picked up like snacks today because I like got like a chomp stick and a bar to like refuel before I like came here. But my favorite is like a mint chip Energizer smoothie.
I've never tried that.
Oh, that one's good. Yeah.
I have seen you post about it. I had never heard of Hillstone until you either. What is like your perfect Hillstone order?
The Thai tuna roll, which is like a new sleeper favorite. For so long, it was the Osaka press sushi, which is still really good. But the Thai tuna roll is insane. And spinach artichoke dip to start. And then I'm also getting an extra dirty Belvedere martini with the goat cheese olives.
Oh my God.
I don't do this every time I go, but if it's a weekend, I'm like absolutely getting a martini because what they do is like when the glass isn't cold anymore, because they serve it in a cold glass, they come to your table and they switch glasses. So anyway, and then Ding's crispy chicken sandwich or the burger are like my faves.
And then I have to ask, perfect day in LA.
Wake up and either go on a walk, or if I'm in like my running era, like go on a nice little run in like Santa Monica or like around Brentwood and stuff. Ideally it's a Sunday and I walk through the farmer's market. There's so much happening in Brentwood.
There's so much happening in Brentwood.
No, there really is.
No,
and like we're like, it's normally like a more quiet community, but it's like we're getting a lot of stuff right now.
It's hopping.
Get coffee either at like Alfred, because I do still love Alfred. Their sugar-free vanilla latte is like one of my favorite things. And then go to Courage Bagels. So then we're transporting to Silver Lake.
That's where I am.
But Courage Bagels is incredible.
Very good.
Like it's so good. Do you think it's overrated?
No, but I'm not like
your reaction wasn't like it's good.
The thing I'm from
like New York.
Yeah.
I'm like I love a breakfast taco. Like I'm not I'm not gonna die on that hill of like best bagel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I just like I love Courage, so I think it's worth it to go there. For lunch, like either like Dialogue Cafe. I do like the La Scala chopped salad. That's like another like basic LA thing. Maybe shopping. I mean, unfortunately, like I would take every visitor to Palisades Village, and the Palisades obviously is not open to the public right now. So I guess like Century City, because I do like that mall too.
That parking garage.
No, the parking garage is diabolical.
No, I've cried so many. And then I realized it was a thing later that I was like, okay, so I'm not special for like having a panic
No, it's
attack
like a thing. I always park by the Eataly and Equinox because then I can also validate my ticket at Equinox because I'm a member there, and then I never get lost because like I know I just need to like find Equinox, and then I know my car will be there. I'm trying to think of like what I'm missing.
Maybe like a treat.
Okay, yeah, I love the Big Chill. Love Salt and Straw, but that obviously isn't. I'm crying. Salt and Straw obviously isn't like LA based, but still it's amazing. And then for dinner, I mean, Hillstone's amazing, but like I'd rather go to like an LA place. Like Bastia is my favorite restaurant in the city.
Really good.
So good. It's basic, but like Nobu and Malibu. But specifically
It's
that
good.
one.
Yeah.
It lives up to the hype, and the ambiance is just
does.
like everything.
It does. And like you might see someone fun.
Yeah.
It's a good vibe.
100%.
Some people ask questions that I want to definitely ask you. Mainly they're about dating, but like sometimes you post stuff and I literally laugh. Like someone will ask you advice and you're like, yeah, just don't do that. And like you're just so sure of yourself, and like I laugh because I'm like, yeah, it's really not that hard of a thing to figure out. Like I feel like I don't know you. This is my parasocial relationship that I have with you, of just like simplifying things for yourself sometimes. Or that's
Yeah.
how it seems, at least.
Sometimes I am like a bit like short and blunt in my answers, but it's because like it's the right advice. Like, at least I think everything I model my content after is like what I would have liked to see when I was younger. I asked those silly questions to myself or like to my sisters when I was 18, 19.
Totally.
I would have appreciated some like tough love.
Yeah.
And like it's not for everyone for sure,
Yeah.
but like I am exactly what you said, like sure of myself, and like I do think I've had enough life experiences to be in the position to give advice. Not on everything, of course, but of stuff that I'm well versed in, which is the questions I answer in that manner. I of course share so much of my life.
You really do.
And I love doing it. It doesn't feel like too much. I don't feel like I'm oversharing in any capacity of what I do share, but there are things that are off limits. And I get a lot of intrusive questions about like my family and my family life and about my relationship. And like I'll share some of my relationship, but like my boyfriend isn't like a public person. Like he'll be in content when it's like natural, but like I'm never like making a TikTok with him, or I'm never like, Max, come like kiss me in this TikTok. Like it's just like that's not our vibe. And so it's
I'm
kind
so
of
happy it's not.
Yeah. I would never date a guy who is like, let's make a TikTok. That's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
But it's honestly when people just feel like they're entitled to information.
Totally.
It's kind of just like a line I've drawn in the sand for myself.
Yeah.
That's just like kind of how it goes.
Some of these dating questions are unhinged. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. You give such great advice.
Thank you.
I'm like manically going through her stories. Like, I needed to hear that today about this guy I'm talking to. So on my Instagram story, I asked some people to ask some questions about dating. First question, is homie hopping really bad?
I think it depends the context. Like,
I agree.
I don't think it's like the end of the world. I think that if you like had a serious relationship and then you want to like go hook up with the guy's best friend, like you're gonna like that's obviously gonna be some sort of drama.
Right.
But like I don't think that if you like went on like a date with one guy in a friend group, like a year later you like his friend is off limits necessarily.
100%.
But I do think that like context is important.
If someone that's involved is like in a happy relationship, I do think it's a little odd for them to be like crashing out about their past.
I agree about that as well.
Don't love.
Yeah, you can't do that.
How long until exclusivity should be expected?
Again, it's relative, but I think after like 6-ish dates.
Okay.
/ like a month.
Okay.
At 5 weeks.
I like that.
Ish. Like,
what did Teppy say that one time? She was like, you're like gonna let someone take 6 Saturdays?
I guess maybe like not a month. I would say like 6 weeks, because I'm trying to think of like my timeline with Max, which felt very natural. But I do think that if it's like any more than like 2 months and like you've met their friends and like you like you've hooked up and like whatever, and like there's no semblance of a conversation like occurring, then I think that's when you need to be like, hey, what's going on?
Do you think you should bring up that conversation? Because I think people go back and forth. Like I had a friend who was like, as you get closer to 30, I feel like it's a little bit easier to have those conversations because people just like are so used to having them. But she was like very adamant that she wanted her partner to bring it up because she was like, I want him to be the leader. I want it to be his idea.
I think in a perfect world, it's the guy that brings it up. But I do think that like if you've gotten to a place where you feel like you're like very like close and like, but there hasn't been any semblance of a conversation, you can like kind of nudge him. But I do think that like in that case, like that kind of says what it says for itself. Does that make sense? Like if a guy wants to date you, like he's gonna lock you down as soon as he can.
I actually like want to keep you in my phone. Like I'm like, please stop. No, you're right.
Ideally he's normal, and so he's not doing it on like the second or third date, but like Max was like definitely wanting to like make sure it was clear to me that like he wasn't seeing other people and like wanted me to be on the same page. Like
I love that.
It was like about like 6 weeks probably.
It allows you to let your guard down and be like, okay, let me give this a try and see if I actually like you or not. Someone asked, should I leave LA to find the one?
Well, no, because I found my person in this city.
I cannot believe you found your boyfriend on Hinge.
I know, on Hinge and in LA. I mean, I will say we both went to USC. He was a grade above me. We just didn't know each other in school.
Yeah.
And so we met via Hinge, but it was really one of those like happenstances where it's like we could have met in person. And I think that like those are the majority of Hinge success stories I hear are people who like could
had
have met.
mutuals somewhere.
Had mutuals, yeah.
Fair.
Of course, like it could be a completely random person that you hit it off with. But I think it's crazy that I found him too, because I know that it's like not the most ideal dating scene via my single friends.
I'm from Austin. Like when I go to Austin, I feel like the hottest, skinniest, silliest, funniest bitch ever. And then I'm here and there's like 30 people that look just like me walking down the street. I'm like, it's so competitive.
Yeah.
But I do feel like as a Black woman dating, I have more success in New York.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess you're moving.
My mom wants me to move so bad to New York. I mean, couldn't survive.
I think that like if you genuinely don't resonate with like a lot of men here, then like it could be worth trying something new. But like also like if everything else in your life is amazing and you have a bunch of friends and stuff, like I think that there probably is someone in this city for you. So like I don't think you should move specifically for that reason. But I do understand that like a lot of the men in LA, they're not my vibe either. And so like when I was single, I wasn't worried that like I wouldn't find someone, but I also wasn't expecting to meet Max. Like I wasn't expecting to meet a guy and then like date him. And
so you were kind of dating like just to date, to get out there.
Yeah. I had been single for like a year and a half when I met Max, but like I basically just I'm an extroverted person. I honestly loved first dates. I thought they were fun.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, whatever, like I've been on Hinge, like, and my goal for 2023 was to go on more dates. And he was my second date of 2023. And then I was like,
oh my God, I've seen what
like,
you've done for others. Please help me.
It wasn't like after that date, I was like, oh, this is it. But I didn't go on any other dates after him. Because of course, on your first date, I think it's cliche if people are ever like, oh, I knew he was the one on the first date. I'm like, no, you didn't. As we progressed, I just like got less like, I didn't see anyone else like after we went on our first date.
Me and one of my friends, Alex, we talked about this. Halsey has this song where she's like, it's funny how the warning signs can feel like butterflies. And you're like, okay, yeah, what about the lyric? I'm like obsessed with it. Everyone in the room knows I don't shut the fuck up about Halsey.
No, I like it.
But that's how it should be. You should feel like at peace, and it shouldn't feel like, not that it's not exciting, but I don't know. I think sometimes like we think, I had this like huge reaction, and it's kind of like, that's not what you want to have every single day. You know what I mean?
I never was like confused on like if he liked me. I never was like is he gonna text me?
Yeah.
And not that we were texting all the time, but like I just kind of like knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And after our second date, I was like, okay, I do really like this guy. It was like the best second date I'd ever been on. And then like it slowly kind of like built from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that like, because I mean like you don't want to be like love bombed and like be talking about your kids' names on like the third date, you know?
Me. I'm like, yeah, don't do that.
I'm crying.
Can you get past the ick? Do you think that's a thing, to get past the ick once you have it?
I think it depends, like, what caused the ick. I think for the most part, like, yeah.
If you're in the room and you had an idea of what the ick was, just go ahead and say it. Anyone?
Okay, like, I was like, I didn't like my boyfriend at first.
Right.
And, like, I thought he was shy, and I was like, ew, like, I don't want to date someone who's shy, but, like, he was just nervous, and now I'm, like, so in love with him.
Yeah.
Right, and you can get past it.
That sense of ick, like, can get past. But I do think, like, there are some occurrences you can't get past, and, like, it could even be, like, when you're in the relationship, like, for a while, and then you just kind of, like, are like, wait, don't touch me, and then you kind of know that it's, like, over. Yeah.
Well, they always say the first red flag is why you break up, if you break up.
Yeah.
And I can attest to that.
Honestly, same.
It's true.
I can attest to that too.
It's true. I don't know where I found that little nugget of advice, but
oh my God.
Yeah.
So true though.
So now when I'm dating, obviously like I kind of struggle with this because both my parents are still together. And my dad does like this really cute thing. My mom goes to church every Sunday and he goes most Sundays, but like he always will buy her like a random dress and like put it in her closet. So she'll be like manically like, I don't know what I'm wearing to church today. And then there's like a new dress in there and she's like, oh my God, it's so cute. And I remember talking to my mom and I was like, I am never going to find a man like that. Like I'm fucked. She's going to kill me for saying that. Sorry, girl. She just got mad at me today for saying the F word. She wants me to start saying freaking.
My mom is the same way.
I know. She's just a cute little
But I'm a lost
woman.
cause, unfortunately.
No, right. I'm like, just don't watch the podcast, girl. But anyways, my mom was like, Sierra, your dad wasn't doing that like in the first year of us dating or marriage. Like, you know, those things like you grow and you evolve together. And so I try to be like aware of red flags, but also I know like there's some things you can work through.
Yeah, 100%.
Anyways, okay. Someone asked for a crash course on moving on from a long-term relationship.
First and foremost, no contact. Like, mute them, unfollow them, block them, do whatever you need to do. It's the only way. Like, it truly is.
I do agree.
It is the only way to move on.
I do agree.
Is that plus going on like dates again? Not right away. Of course, you need to like give yourself time to heal, or not. Maybe you do want to go on dates right away.
Right.
But like, I think that like that the best way to like especially get over someone after that like initial period of being like no contact is like having feelings for someone else.
Yeah, I agree.
And like knowing that there's more out there, which is why I'm a big proponent of Hinge. After like my long-term relationship breakup, I didn't make a Hinge right away, but like 2 months later probably.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like I needed this. I needed like this like fun. Like it doesn't need to be that serious, whatever. Also, just in terms of like what to do with like your days, like know that there will be days you're fine and know that there are days that it's really hard, but the hard days doesn't mean that like you made the wrong choice. And I do think, especially if you did the breaking up and you're second guessing yourself, the fact that you did it is reason enough that it wasn't the wrong call. And like I really believe that.
I love this girl.
So
also on my story, I was like, I have someone that gives the best advice. I feel like people think I have like a therapist or like a doctor coming on.
I'm crying. No, it's just me.
No, but like you're my world. I love it.
Just like fill your days with plans, like call a friend, like call your mom, catch up with someone like from that you haven't talked to in a while. Just like kind of have those conversations. And then also Happiness by Taylor Swift is a great song to listen to if you're going through a breakup.
I was going to ask you, not related to this little segment, most underrated Taylor Swift song. I know that's like insane, but what's one of the first that comes to mind?
Okay, well, it's actually really
mine.
It's really upsetting because I've been a Cruel Summer fan since Lover came out.
That's tough.
And Cruel Summer was the underrated Taylor Swift song until it had its renaissance in summer of 2023, which I'm so happy for the song because it's an amazing song. But it was a sleeper. Like people didn't know about it.
That is so weird to think about. But yeah.
Right? That it like it once wasn't like a well-known.
Insane.
I think All You Had to Do was Stay from 1989 is an amazing song. Same with I Know Places. And then let's see what else.
Mine is Best Days.
Oh, from Debut or Fearless.
What is Best Days from?
No, it's Fearless.
Is it Fearless?
It's about the day with her mom, right?
She's like,
the
I'm
best
9
day.
years old.
Yeah.
It's getting cold.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. She says a little silly little lyric.
Yeah, it's Fearless.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good
So
song.
good.
And I think Change off Fearless, Cold as You off Debut. I mean, there are so many.
I love.
There are so many.
Back to the game. I'm bad. I actually like this one. Maybe I wrote it. I don't know. How to ask a man out without asking a man out. I actually didn't write that. I know who submitted it. Hey, girl.
I actually don't know if this is something I can like speak on because I never did that. But I do think like just showing interest and being like flirty, so like whether it be like a follow on Instagram or like putting out energy. I'm not woo woo like that, but I do think that when you're open to meeting people and like going on dates with different people, you get that energy back.
Yeah.
I didn't ask Max out, but I liked him first on Hinge. And so I always tell girls, if like don't only use Hinge passively and like let guys like you. Like
I do that.
Also, you don't have to like say something, but like if I thought a guy was hot, like Max, like I just sent a like. And then like the ball is in their court to start a conversation. And I think that that's like a lot of girls don't want to like guys or like they like think it's like embarrassing. And I'm like, no, like it goes both ways. And like it's not embarrassing at all. So
it's not. And also everyone's on, especially an app, like you're both on the app looking for the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I know I make everything about myself. It's not to make this about me. And I find a way to just chat about whatever I'm thinking. This last segment is called And I Get That. So it's your opportunity to maybe say a hot take. Maybe it's something that I said during the episode. And all I'm allowed to respond back is say, And I Get That.
Oh.
I know. Did I describe that well?
You did.
Elizabeth,
but I don't know what I need to think of something to say.
Take your time.
Like, yes, Justin Bieber is Justin Bieber, but like the way that he treats Hailey publicly, it's not okay and it shouldn't be defended.
And I get that.
The Vogue caption seriously just sent me into a different dimension. And regardless of whether it's a joke and like I don't want to judge her and the relationship, but like that's just not okay.
And I get that.
Okay, so you literally can only say and I get that. If you're consistently being like left out or not feeling like safe and comfortable with your friends, they aren't your good friends and you should foster friendships elsewhere.
And I get that.
Feel very passionately about that. If you hate Taylor Swift, like you're the worst.
And I get that. And I get that.
I think the biggest thing also is just that, like, for girls who are single, this isn't coming at you.
Wait, no, I am. But just look at the camera. Don't even look at me.
I'm crying. But, like, don't dwell on the fact that you're single because, like, being single is such a gift in, like, so many ways. And you never know when your person is coming. It could be literally around the corner. And so, like, then you might look back on your life being single and being like, oh, I wish I didn't, like, spend my time sulking or, like, spending my time wishing I had a boyfriend when I could have been, like, not answering to anyone else or not having to care about not that it's a bad thing to care about someone else's feelings, but it's just like a thing that comes with a relationship is like having to answer to someone else. Like, of course, there's that like dependency on one another, and you owe it to them to like check in, whatever. I feel so annoying saying it from a place of in a relationship, but I said this when I was single too.
I just love dating and being silly, and honestly, part of it's like first dates. It's like you're just there with someone for an hour and a half, and they're just like telling you you're hot and silly and fun. Like I'm like an entertainer. Like I love it. But I do really agree with that. Even where I'm at in my life right now, like I could not even imagine like prioritizing anyone outside of myself. Like I just don't even see the space unless it was like truly the right person.
Right. Yeah.
I love you guys. I love you.
I love you. This is so fun.
Thank you so much for coming.
Of
I had the silliest time. Technically, Alex Cooper is why we're connected. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.